The government is considering this. Is it an idea that you would welcome?
Well, it makes for a good New Year headline, but it probably would make for a very bad law. It's the kind of law that could actually exercise a kind of dragnet effect on sentencing in general. We've already got inflation in sentencing and sentence lengths increasing year on year for the last 10 years. And what's really important is not to undermine the fundamental principles of fairness and proportionality.
Well, Damien Green is saying that he wants to do just that. I want to restore the respectability of human rights. Do you think this... I get the impression that you don't think this would go anyway to doing that.
It doesn't appear to. I mean, there have been huge problems in the States with these incredible laws, because anybody with any sense can see that if you impose a sentence that's beyond a natural lifespan, that how could it make sense, because the person is going to die during it. So they couldn't really be reviewed in any sensible way.
But that is the key word here, isn't
Yes.
it, review? Because at the moment the problem with whole life terms is that there is there's no vehicle there for it to be reviewed and reduced. However, if you gave someone 150 years or something, that could still be reviewed and it could be reduced. I mean, what do you think, that they're just sort of getting around this?
Yes, it's a dodge, and it's slightly embarrassing to see our country in this position, really, that you know, we do espouse human rights. When we are talking about other countries, we expect other countries to comply with the Human Rights Act and to comply with the European Court, and yet now we're kind of executing some sort of dodge, and it just is embarrassing. And the net result, I think, is, you know, that the judgment by the European Court was very clear. Not that people should be let out, but simply that they should have that opportunity at some stage, usually at 25 years or more, for review, which is what happens in most countries around the world. We took that away in 2003. It was reinstated by the judgment last year. And it seems a reasonable thing. It isn't a get-out-of-jail card. It's really important that that's made clear. It's simply that they can be considered and reviewed. So it allows for a tiny bit of hope, I guess, and a way of looking at the future. And if you don't have that, you condemn people not only to a whole life in prison, and there are now just fewer than 50 people serving whole life tariffs, but you also condemn prison staff to working with an ever-increasing elderly population of people who have no hope whatsoever.